I know we're used to her now, but take your mind back to when we didn't know Reina yet. You see the character trailer.
せいぜい私を追い詰めてみせろ。
And you see stuff like
すぐに
this.
理解することになる。
And this. Reina is the single most badass newcomer to Tekken 8, and quite possibly to Tekken in general. A game full of badasses. Yet this one, with the contrast of a beautiful and even chipper girl who seemingly hides her true nature, except in certain moments. So today, let's explore the most badass character in Tekken, Reina Mishima. So we'll start with design. Reina's design was done by Mari Shimazaki, who also designed Bayonetta. Yes, that Bayonetta. The design for Reina suits the very element we brought up a moment ago, this sort of contrast between her chipper and happy-go-lucky side and her true nature as a dominating badass. The black and purple split colors being a way to sort of show this off. She also seems to be wearing pantyhose that covers her legs entirely, with these purple leg warmers at the top of her military combat boots, and you can more or less see the rest of her design for yourself. But it kind of reminds me a lot of Jin's design in both Tekken 4 and Tekken 8. The mysterious hood Jin wore in Tekken 4 is a hood she herself can wear sometimes, as you see here. And it kind of reminds me of what you see here in Tekken 4. But also the jacket kind of reminds me of Jin's jacket in Tekken 8 here. Now for the fighting style. Her martial art is a mix. One part of it is a rather obscure one called Taido, which seems to kind of be what you get when you mix the ideas of high kicks with your upper body low to the ground, kind of like capoeira, but mixed with a form of karate. Personally, I think it's unique and interesting looking, and it provides variety to the game. Then, of course, she uses her distinctly Mishima Ryu karate she clearly got from Heihachi, with her electric wind god fist, as you see here, and things like that. Personality. Well, let's go more into her personality. As seen here, Jin treats her with disinterest, much like he would normally for Xiaoyu, as you see here in Tekken Tag 2, because he's single-mindedly focused on his situation with the Mishima blood feud. She grabs his attention only slightly when mentioning they'll be opponents, but still has an air of that she isn't seen as an actual threat. The way she cheers out to Jin, though, to try to get his interest in this moment, leads me to wonder if it's not entirely a front, if that chipper and happy-go-lucky side is, yes, okay, partly an act, but also her playing up a real side of herself. One has to remember, she's probably around 20 years old, maybe even 19. So let's be honest, we've all encountered the type. Girls who put a cutesy fake voice to play up a version of themselves, but it's based in some truth too, you know? She still plays up the positive aspects of something or someone that she probably does genuinely admire, which, given what we learn about her and her having the devil gene, makes a lot of sense for her to have some sort of affection for Jin. I love that she even warns Jin that she can be rough during the fight, and how she toys with him during their match about her comparisons to Heihachi. That smirk right there is clear Heihachi face mannerisms that she's using there. Oh. Her ties to her father Heihachi Mishima seem to be a positive one, but we learned behind the scenes that she wasn't raised by Heihachi, so that might explain why she sees him in a more positive light, though some could say that fathers are nicer to daughters than they are to sons, perhaps. And which may be an element that happened once she did get to know him at some point. Of course, back then, we believed Heihachi was completely dead.
Heihachi Mishima is completely dead.
Which we later learned was a bold-faced lie. Completely dead my ass. But I also recall seeing somewhere that Harada did genuinely intend for Heihachi to be dead, and Reina to be a successor. That would make a lot of sense to me, given she was planned even during Tekken 7's development. And then her match with Kazuya, it was like Reina had temporarily become the main character, which I just love because it felt like, yeah, let's push her all the way to the brink of death so she could unlock her devil form. But also, it was like she went toe-to-toe with the boss of the game and lived. Okay, sure, Jin would be the real fight against Kazuya, but still. As for her devil form, yeesh, I don't like that she has one personally. It feels rather cliche, but I suppose it continues how the Mishima stuff usually goes. But I feel like if they were gonna do it, could they maybe make a better design? Because this one looks like shit, in my opinion. Either way, I think all of this pretty much points straight to why she's exactly the sort of character you'd want to play. A complete, I hate to say it again, but it fits. If the shoe fits, wear it. She's a badass. And if this is your sort of character, go for it. I'd say Jin is still my main, but the fact that I literally went from using Lee Chaolan as my second most used character next to Jin throughout the Tekken series since all the way back in Tekken 4, to suddenly now I've been using Reina ever since Tekken 8 to fill that role instead, it's a pretty huge difference. Take that how you will. So yeah, Lee Chaolan isn't my pocket character next to my main of Jin anymore. No, Reina is my pocket, and has been for ever since I played this game. Anyway, until next time, guys, bye-bye.